Thanks again for checking out the CodingFanatic YouTube channel. Head on over to CodingFanatic.com and join our mailing list for weekly updates on Android tutorials, career advice, and more. So once again, head on over to CodingFanatic.com and thanks for your support. Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to do a brief review of some changes I made to my travel project and why I updated my code using a different means to click on the text views. For some background information, the travel project or travel app is meant to show a list of addresses and allow users to search through the list using zip codes to return all the corresponding addresses. Now, in my app, in order to get to the screen to view the list of addresses as well as the other screen which lets you search, you click on the option in the main menu, and once you click it, it opens that activity, starts the activity, and lets you see that screen. Now, the way I used to do it, I had an old way of doing it in my code. I found a better way, refactored it, and now I'm going to explain and show you exactly what those changes look like. All right, so here I am on my GitHub page, and as you can see, let me full screen it so you can see the whole thing. Okay, so as you can see, in this commit, I said that I refactored the main activity. I removed the onClick XML attribute from the text views and set IDs. Now, let's go over to our XML file here. So in the activity main.xml file, I had text views that were meant to appear in the app. And if we go into the app for a second, or into the code, now this is the new code, but as you can see here in my XML file, I have a text view. I have multiple text views, but the main ones with IDs are this one here that says ID view list, and I have another one that says ID search list. Now these are the text views that are used for those options, so that when you open the app, you see the option that says search list and another one that says view list. Now going back to GitHub, here I said that I removed the onClick XML attribute from the text views. So what I had before was I used the onClick attribute in the XML file, and I used the value that I called press. Now, press was the name of a function or a method that I wrote in MainActivity, in the MainActivity.java file. And the whole purpose of the press function or press method was to configure what happens when you click on either the view list or the search list options. So let's head back up. Let's head back up here to, here we are in our MainActivity.java file. So as you can see in the red, I had this is the old code, and these are all the things that I removed, and then the green is everything that I added. So here I had public void press. So this was my own method that I wrote here in onCreate, and the purpose was to obtain a view and then take that view, get the text, convert it to a string, and assign the value of that string to a string variable called text. And if the content of text was equal to view list, then I would start and create an intent that opens the list addresses class. So, and also if the text contained the text search list, so if the string says search list, then it would start the search results activity. Excuse me. So in other words, based on the text in that text view, or in the text view, when it's clicked on, based on that text, it would start an activity. Now this works and it is functional, but I figured over time that it was a bit too complex, because I have to create a method, an extra method that does this, and I have to maintain code in two places, both in the MainActivity.java file as well as the activity_main.xml file. So what I did was I removed this onClick from both the text views, and I added IDs to both of them. So the view list, the text view that is used to style the view list option, I gave it excuse me, gave it an ID called view list, and I did the same thing for the search list text view, giving it the ID search list. Now, if we go back up to main activity, then well, you know what? Since this is a new code and these are the changes, let's take a look in VS Code so you guys have a better view of everything. Okay, so here in activity main, you see I have the ID view list and I have the ID search list. And this will allow me to create an object that references these text views in MainActivity.java. So we can go ahead and close this. And here in MainActivity.java, I created two text view objects, text view view list and text view search list. And I instantiated both objects using the r.id.viewList for the view list object and the search list ID for the search list object. And after that, I set OnClickListeners for both using the view.onClickListener method that's found in the view class. So text views, if you take a look at some of my previous videos, you'll see that text views and buttons are both subclasses of the view class. And the view class contains methods that are used to configure what happens when you click on a view. So whenever they're clicked on it or the user interacts with it, there are methods that are already written that say what to do when that happens. And by overriding those methods, you can define the behavior that your app will exhibit when it's clicked. So here I have an onClick listener, and when the view list text view is clicked, then it creates a new intent and it opens the list addresses. It creates an intent using the list addresses class, and then it starts that activity. And the same thing goes for the search list text view. Once you click on it, there's a new intent that's instantiated, and it opens the search results class and starts the class. It creates an intent that has the search results class, and then it starts that activity. So the reason why I removed, like I said, the reason why I removed the onPress method or the press method from the XML file was if I want to do anything that interacts with these text views, after I instantiate these objects, then I can do everything I need to here in the MainActivity.java file. And I can use the activity_main XML file strictly for styling. So this way, one file is used for styling, the other one is used for actual code and logic, instead of trying to stretch that functionality across two different files. So you can use either method, whether you want to create a separate method within your MainActivity.java and define what happens when your views are clicked, and then just reference that method using the onClick XML attribute in your XML file. That's one way to do it, but I found that it was a lot easier, and it makes it easier to maintain the code if you do everything in one file. So just to reiterate, I have the IDs that I set in the activity main XML file. We can go ahead and reopen that. I have the activities or the IDs that I set here. So Android ID equals ID/view list and ID/search list. And then here in the main activity file, we can actually use those IDs to instantiate an object that whenever you interact with it, you can now configure what happens when the user interacts with it directly right here in your MainActivity.java file. So that about does it for this update. Thanks again for tuning in to the CodingFanatic YouTube channel. Once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and head over to the website CodingFanatic.com so you can subscribe and get updates whenever I post new content around Android development, tutorials, career advice, and more. So thank you again so much for your support. This is your host, Richard Clark, signing out, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.